Hey, welcome back to our third junior geometry video. We continue chatting polygons. Right, so far I hope you've mastered this table. If you haven't, please take it away from here, write it down and memorize it until these names are starting to sink in. We basically have three-sided shapes called triangles, four-sided shapes are called quadrilaterals, five-sided shapes are called pentagons, six-sided shapes are called hexagons, and so on. Now, with each type of shape, we have regular polygons, which means all sides are equal and all angles are equal. And we have irregular polygons, which means not all sides and angles are equal. Right, in this video, we're chatting quadrilaterals. Quad means four, so four-sided shapes. And there are 8 different types of quadrilaterals we are going to explore. So let's get into it. We start with the only regular quadrilateral, the square. Now, square has 4 sides equal. I've put these dashes here to mean all sides are equal. If I was to rotate the square, this is one thing I asked a student one day. I rotated a square and they said, oh, it's a diamond. No, it's still a square. It's just been rotated. Right, if I showed you the angles inside a square, you can see that the angles are all 90 degrees. They're all a little square in the corner, which means they're 90 degrees or right angles, right? So squares have 90-degree angles. Right, let's get rid of the square and show you the next quadrilateral, the rectangle. Basically, it's a square that one side's longer than the other. Now, put one dash on these two sides, which means these two sides are equal in length, and I'll put 2 dashes on these sides, which means these two are equal but different to the first. Rectangles also have 90-degree angles, same as a square, but what's different is one side's longer than the other. Alright, so there's your rectangle, right? Let's chat about a parallelogram. Parallelogram basically is a rectangle that's fallen over on its side. Now these two sides, I've put arrows on them because they are the same length, but they are parallel. Parallel means they basically stay the same distance apart. These two sides are also the same length, and they're parallel too. They're different to the first parallel. They're not parallel to these, so that's why they've got 2 dashes on them. Right, the rhombus. The rhombus basically is a square that's sort of fallen over, had a stumble and fallen. It's like the parallelogram, if I put the parallelogram back up again, but the difference is the rhombus, all sides are equal. All sides are equal in a rhombus. Now, if I was to take the rhombus and spin it around like I did with my square, and I got to about there, and then a student said, that's a diamond, they'd be right. So another name for a rhombus is a diamond. Right, let's move on to a shape called a trapezium. Trapezium, this is what a trapezium looks like. These two sides, top and bottom, are parallel, which means they stay the same distance apart. And the other two sides, well, they can do what they jolly like. All right. The key thing here, if I was to move it around a little bit and get sort of a shape like this, then it would be an isosceles trapezium, which means the two sides, these two sides here are equal in length, and I put dashes on them. Remember an isosceles triangle? 2 sides of the triangle were the same. An isosceles trapezium means 2 sides of the trapezium are the same. Right, let's move on to our next quadrilateral, the kite. Here's our beautiful kite. It's the typical shape young kids might have built when they were young. These 2 sides are equal, so they've got a dash, and these 2 sides are equal and 2 dashes, but they're different to the first top 2. Now, the difference between a kite and an arrowhead. Well, if I clicked on arrowhead, it looks the same, but it's not. Let me just grab that and move it up. This shape is my arrowhead, right? This is my arrowhead, and you can see that these 2 sides are the same, and these 2 are the same. Right, and then we finish up finally with the any other 4-sided shape. Any other 4-sided shape that doesn't fall into a square, rectangle, parallelogram, rhombus, trapezium, kite, or arrowhead is called an irregular quadrilateral because all angles will be different and all sides would be different. Awesome. Hey, thanks so much for watching.